Freedom song. Freedom song.
Yeah.
Freedom song.
It's right here. It's epic.
Freedom song.
You ready? Let's rock.
Freedom song.
Stars.
Freedom song. Freedom song. Freedom song.
I got some things on my mind. Let me talk till I'm free. Mental therapy, whatever you wanna call it. There's been some things bothering me. I gotta break free. Time for me to finish what I started. I got my heart in it. Standing on 2 feet, 10 toes deep. Baby steps coming through, stumping hard. Whoever your God, whatever your beliefs, lifestyles retreat. This is the place where we all meet. We talking freedom. You best believe it. Energy from the stars, we receive it. Advice, some words and always nice suggestions. Making statements, playing, saying, chiming, vibing, frequency high. Spirit contact, emotional climax. Forgiving, not forgetting, divine energy. Balance within, no pad, ink pens. Pull out a check, come on, let's chat for a minute. I'm here.
Freedom song. Freedom song. Freedom song. Freedom song. We're talking freedom. We need it. Eyes on the prize. We see it. We're rocking freedom. We believe it. Ain't no stopping us now. Let's believe it.
The definition of freedom is the power or right to act, speak, or think as one voice without hindrance or restraint. Freedom stars.
Freedom song. Freedom song. Freedom song. Freedom song.
What's up?
Good day.
Happy Saturday. Today is Saturday, June 13th, 2026. I am Steve Osborne,
Kevin Upson.
and we welcome you to Freedom Stars. Another episode.
And lunch.
And lunch. Yeah, we're doing like we did on one of our previous episodes. We've been busy today between cleaning, house, garden work, errands, etc., like we always do.
Some things is from our own garden.
Yeah, we've been harvesting, y'all. So we got some videos coming up where y'all gonna see us harvesting from our garden. So yeah, we already eating from the garden. Thank
From our garden.
all praises to the Most High.
From our garden, we have the zucchini. We have our herbs, our dill, our sweet basil,
Is there some Mizuna in that too?
and that's all that's greens.
I see it,
that
yeah.
big greens you see that.
So yeah, we did some nice harvesting. So we got some videos coming on the way with that, and also we got some more harvesting to do as well. Shout out to all of our fellow podcasters. Shout out to all of our subscribers. Did you bring hot sauce?
You want hot sauce?
I'll ride with this soy sauce. Thank you. Oh yeah, this is the food too. Kev threw down in that kitchen. Let me see. There y'all go. This is a vegetable medley. It's like a vegetable rice. You know what I'm saying?
Mushrooms and
Mushroom. I see
garlic,
mushrooms. I see
zucchini,
cabbage, garlic, zucchini, onions, Mizuna. It's a lot of great good stuff here. So
carrots.
carrots too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get a bite, y'all, real quick. Hold on. This look good.
This Mizuna, it's like second time around is better.
Yeah, the Mizuna is loaded with a lot of vitamin K.
What kind of
That's good.
squash you said this was? Different squash.
The we know it out. The zucchini is called zucchino rampicante, and it's very different from any zucchini that we've ever seen.
It's good.
Cause we used to seeing the zucchini that look like cucumbers. Hold on, y'all.
That's one of them.
So we're gonna take our time with this topic like we've done with the previous topic so that we can say things right, and this is an episode where we're helping each other in various ways, okay? So the title of this episode is What is a Flying Monkey? And I'm not saying that in circus terms, but what is a flying monkey? Okay, so I got notes that, you know, I make notes. So I'm gonna share with you all what a flying monkey is. A flying monkey is a psychological term for a person. Let me read this slowly. A flying monkey is a psychological term for a person manipulated by a narcissist to do their dirty work. I'm gonna repeat that. A flying monkey is a psychological term for a person manipulated by a narcissist to do their dirty work. Derived from the flying monkeys in The Wizard of Oz, who unquestioningly carried out the Wicked Witch's orders. These individuals are used by the narcissist to attack, harass, or manipulate their target on their behalf. Let me read that again. These individuals are used by the narcissist to attack, harass, or manipulate their target on their behalf. What they do. Flying monkeys are used as indirect weapons to maintain the narcissist's control without the narcissist getting their own hands dirty. Their behaviors often include spreading gossip, sharing targeted lies or distorted narratives to ruin the victim's reputation, gaslighting, pressuring the victim to get over it or making them question their own reality, gathering intelligence, spying on the victim to pass information back to the narcissist. Why people become flying monkeys? People in a narcissist circle can become flying monkeys for a few different reasons. Deception. They're genuinely manipulated by the narcissist's victim narrative and believe they are helping. Fear. They may be coerced into compliance to avoid becoming the narcissist's next target. Codependency. They are people pleasers or lack the emotional intelligence to recognize the toxic dynamic. How to deal with them. To protect your mental health when dealing with flying monkeys, mental health experts generally recommend setting strict boundaries. Clearly state what you are and are not willing to discuss, and limit contact if they continue to overstep. Avoiding the jade technique. Do not justify, argue, defend, or explain your side. Let me repeat that. Do not justify, argue, defend, or explain your side. Flying monkeys are often deeply entrenched in the narcissist's false reality and will use your words as ammunition. Limiting information. Restrict what you share with friends or family members who may be acting as the narcissist's intermediaries. Intermediaries. I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't got my glasses on. I wear glasses. For further advice on navigating complex narcissistic dynamics, professionals emphasize focusing on your own healing rather than trying to convince them of the truth. Okay? So basically, in some form or another, it's a possibility that many of us have been flying monkeys unknowingly. You know, and what was that episode we did? One of the previous episodes. It was about manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, a previous episode we did prior to this one, it was called "How Do You Deal with People That Are Manipulators?" So, excuse me. Within that episode, the word narcissism came up, along with a lot of terms dealing with narcissism. And as I had said in that previous episode, one of the biggest manipulators in my life. The biggest manipulator in my life that I've ever experienced or been involved with is my sister. I had two sisters coming up. One of my sisters passed away. So my mom had 4 kids. She had me, my sister Nika. Nika was handicapped. And Nika is the one that passed away. Then she had another daughter after Nika. And then she had my brother, who was the youngest child. So my sister, the second daughter my mom had, she's the biggest manipulator that I have ever experienced in my life. It took me time out to really start to learn about narcissism, to learn about manipulation and things like that, because I didn't deal with that type of energy firsthand. My mom had hints. They got different levels of narcissism, and I would say my mom was. Let me read this note to you too. Hold on. Okay, so my mom was what you would call, from what I've learned from observation and experience, my mom is what I would have labeled as a vulnerable narcissist. And what a vulnerable narcissist is a subtype of narcissistic personality defined by deep insecurity and a fragile ego. My sister is a grandiose narcissist. Okay, and grandiose narcissists openly seek the spotlight. Vulnerable narcissists hide behind a facade of shyness, sensitivity, and victimhood. So they're both one and the same. And like I said, I believe that narcissism, I believe manipulation, I think those are strong female energies, female actions, female attributes. I'm not saying that there aren't men that are narcissists, because there are men that are narcissists, but from my own personal observation and experiences in my life, the manipulators that I've dealt with and or narcissists that I've dealt with in my life, knowingly, once I started learning about things, as I got older, the majority of them in my life have been females. You know what I'm saying? As far as like manipulating situations and creating false narratives and telling a lot of lies, because coming up, as I say, my family was predominantly female. So it's like being a boy in a family that's predominantly female, that's been ran by female. In order for you to be successful in that type of atmosphere, you have to operate off of female energy, meaning the females, they emasculate the men, they emasculate the boys. So it's like you're under this female energy, you know what I'm saying? And you have to do things accordingly. in order to be happy, in order to be successful, prosperous, in order to get along with people, etc., etc. Okay, so that's how I came up. It took, I'm gonna be quiet in a minute so you can take the stand. It took me getting older, and it's a thing that when you have some families that are close knit, when they just like completely close knit and just together, I think it's a good thing to be that way, but at the same time, I think that it's a disadvantage, because I think when you have families that are too close knit and too much togetherness and this and that, I think sometimes it halts the development of people as individuals. I know everybody's different, don't get me wrong. And when I speak, I know it's a variation of people in this world that exist on different levels that, you know, we are different in one way or another. But I think when you are away from your family, I think you get a different type of development from being too closely entrenched with your family. I think when you get to spread your arms and breathe, it's like you really get a sense of who you truly are without having to live under the guises or the dictation or the rulership or the control or the fear or whatever narrative your family might have over you. You know what I'm saying? When you get to, like, you know how some people go travel out of town, or some people go to college in another state, or some people leave the country, and it's like you develop in a different way because you don't have that headlock on you with your family. So that's what took place with me. Out of a lot of people, of my cousins that I grew up with in Miami, I'm one of the few that actually left the state, and I did so many wonderful things leaving Miami that I know I would not have done had I stayed in Miami. So I'm thankful on so many levels, and everybody that had involvement with me leaving Miami, I appreciate them because they were a part of that fabric of the cloth that helped me become who I am today. Even if it's people that I don't deal with anymore, or people that may have passed away, or whatever the case may be, I'm appreciative of everyone that was involved with every step that it took for me to get to where I am today. Okay? So getting back on the flying monkey situation, as I said, I share my life. You know, I have no problem with talking about events in my life. My mom passed away, it's been over 20 years ago, right? So when my mom passed away, there was some dynamics that went through her children like never before. You know, that's when me and my sister like had a bad collision with each other in so many different ways, and things had never been the same since then, right? As I said, I was raised by my grandma predominantly, and I was raised to be a good brother to my siblings, and I stand 10 toes, like I stand 2 feet, like I stand on the fact that I was a very awesome big brother. I was a very awesome oldest child, and I got aunts and uncles, older people that can vouch that, you know. Coming up as a child, my mom put a lot of pressure on me as far as like I told y'all, her second daughter, my sister Nika, was handicapped. So whenever my mom would go and do what she do, be out and about, wherever she would, you know, whatever, she would leave me home to take care of her 3 kids, which were my siblings. And taking care of a handicapped child and being yourself being a child, that can be a challenge, you know. But
a challenge.
Yeah, I had my grandma, you know, that had taught me, that had nurtured me, that had shaped me, that had educated me. And always told me that if there's anything I need to talk about, come to her. Me and her had that relationship since her bringing me up all the way until my adulthood, where I always was able to go to her, and I was always able to talk to her about anything that bothered me, any good thing, any bad thing, no matter what it was. She created that bond between us, and nobody else had any type of involvement with that bond. Nobody else was a part of that bond. And I'm saying that because throughout, you know, family communications, etc., you know, I later heard, you know, that my sister said that as a child, I had her telling my grandma everything, because I had a reputation of people like, okay, well, Steve, he tells grandma everything. So my sister started telling people, you know, behind my back that, oh, he had me like that too. He had me telling grandma everything. And that's a lie, you know. That's not true. And most of the things that I told my grandma would be situations that happened bad within our family, or situations involving my mom. Because my mama wasn't, she wasn't a horrible person, but she wasn't, I ain't gonna say she was the best perfect mom. You get what I'm saying? She was imperfect, and that's why my grandma raised me, because when my mama had me, my mama didn't really know what she was doing. So any inconsistency, any wrongdoing, etc., with my mama, I had my grandma there as an outlet. So with my sister telling family members that I had her telling my grandma everything, she didn't have the relationship with my grandma that I had, and she was not a part of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lie, and I'm here to say that it's a lie. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you talk now so I can eat. But yeah. Before Kev talk, what I want to say is that I appreciate my grandma for creating that outlet between us. And I know it angered a lot of family members that I had somebody to run to talk to, no matter what it was that troubled me, that bothered me. I'll take it to my grandma and we'll sit down and, you know, assess through the situation. And it's like by the time our conversation was over, whatever weight I had on me, it was lifted. And yeah, a lot of the weight involved my mom. My sister was more a cheerleader for my mom. My sister took after my mom in a lot of ways, and then whatever her own little tweaks are in her life, that's added. But she has a lot of my mom ways, so I knew somewhere deep inside of me that if me and my mom didn't get along as well, and you know, whatever, that it was gonna be that way with my sister too. And yeah, so yeah. But I'll let you go ahead and take over. But yeah.
No, I'm saying, I think only thing I have to say to that is, I know there's a big difference from a small family and a big family, a family of 3 or 4 compared to a family of 10 and 12. With a larger family, you have so many different personalities, and it's if you're how we were close knitted. You know, we were always like stairs. We were like two years apart from everybody, so everybody had a companion to be with. And it was kind of, I think, harder to see of course you notice different things in people, but you don't know the extent of what the problems are, because you try to love people unconditional. And with so many different personalities and so much confusion stuff going on in large families, you don't see the control or the manipulation from certain things. You just try to adapt, or you try to fill in places where there's gaps at. So you don't really well, I didn't concentrate on all the negative that I seen and try to smother it with positive, by going around people I got more positive energy from compared to the people that just had a lot of negative energy. And I was always thriving to try to learn more, try to be a better person. I know I wasn't perfect. I know the problems that I had, and then I tried to fix it, and then I tried to find people that that would help me along that way, like listening to older people, that taking constructive criticism, because everybody was so critical back then. Even neighbors and teachers and stuff. But you had so many teachers. You had some teachers that were really exceptional teachers. Then you had some teachers that were just there for a check. And then you had some teachers that were there like they were like big kids themselves, because they had so many problems. You had teachers that used like flying monkeys. They used other kids to bully other kids. I've seen teachers do that when I was coming up. Mm-hmm. And I've had a teacher, this one teacher, she was absolutely batshit crazy. For her to be a teacher, and for her to be a teacher as long as she was, I only know it's because of the era when I came, the era, because like I said, in 74, segregation was just over at 69. So 74, 76, and all the, it's just like it wasn't that far away. And this lady, what she did was, I had a problem with getting over to school on time because we just had moved down south, and anything I passed that I didn't, wasn't familiar with seeing, it amazed me. Spiders and all kind of, little things that would distract kids coming up. So I would come to school late, and sometimes I would bring some of the things that captured my attention, like this drawing spider, the yellow and black spider, which was about as big as your hand, and it sits right in the middle of his nest, and it made patterns in the spider web. So I thought that was really, amazing. So I said the next day I come by here, I'm gonna have a jar big enough to put it in. Didn't know that the teacher was scared of it, but she still let me do a write-up on it. But the next day when I came in to school late, she got the entire classroom. She had the entire classroom up and all the way to the far left of this classroom, and turned the lights out. And I looked in the classroom window, and it looked like it was, like nobody was in it. And then I happened to look all the way to the left, and all the way to the right, and I said, everybody's standing there all the way against the wall, and she had them to be quiet and everything. So I'm like, something is wrong with this woman. So I left, and I went to the office, and I got the principal. I comes back with the principal. They're all sitting there in perfect. They're all sitting in the class in their chairs in perfect. And then she comes in. When we come into the classroom, she says that nobody was moved out of their place. They was all in the seat. And then, of course, she didn't have control over everybody. So 3 of the kids, the Afro-American kids, said she made us get up, and they told the principal what happened. And then, instead of him really making her accountable for what she did, he just told me to sit down in my class, sit down in my chair, and he was going to talk to her about, what she did. So, as the day went on, I still had problems with her. So I called my mom's. I called my mom's that when my mom was, she was at work. So I couldn't really distract her from that. So when I went back to my classroom and I told her that I called my mother, I said, the next thing I'm going to do is call my grandmother. So this woman got into some kind of fit. Well, back then they used to have these, they used to take the brooms and the mops that the janitors would replace the heads to or whatever when they take them to shop and cut them up to make hall passes with. And when I tell you it was as big as this is, it was big as round as that. She told me to come up to her desk. She grabbed my hand and bent my hand back like this, and would hit me in my hand with that piece of wood. When she threw back the second time, the swing hit me in my hand, I pushed that bitch over her desk. And I was no more than about probably 50 pounds. So when I pushed over her desk, I know she was gonna get up mad. I ran back to the principal office and I told him what happened. Comes back to the office to the classroom with him to see her, and she's saying that I went crazy. I threw her over her desk and I was throwing stuff, and everybody, the kids was telling the principal what happened. So he was talking about taking me out of her classroom and putting me into another class. She didn't want me to leave her class. She wanted me to be disciplined. So with that, we went back to the principal office, and I told him, I said, because he was talking about pat on me. I said, no, you pat on me, you're going to get the same thing she got. So, I'm not going to stand there and let you, hit me across my ass with a piece of wood. Are you crazy? So, during that time, my grandfather and my grandmother was a little younger. My mom and my dad was a little younger. Because I wasn't no more than about 10. 10 or 11, something like that. So, when they came up to my class, when they came up to my school, they wouldn't have it. An Anglo teacher, and I told them what happened and why, and she had no reason to hit me in my hand because I came to, all this started because I came to school late. Not that I skipped school, I came to school late.
I'm gonna say at least you showed up.
Yeah, not only that, I came to school late because I got distracted by looking at insects, and I thought it was something to make a book report on. And I actually wrote a book. She let me. That's how I found out what a writer spider was. So to make a long story short, that teacher, she ended up as time when she had nerve problems. She had she was standing in this shake. I don't know what they Parkinson's disease. I think that's what she ended up having. But yeah, it was a different time back then. It was crazy. Yeah. But you had, like I said, you had some teachers that went beyond what they should have done. Because some teachers would, like, when they knew there was problems going on with you, they'll call you up to the front and have you sit next to them. And as the time go on, they talking to you throughout the day before you go. Because back then, I don't know how many classes y'all had. We had 7. I think we had 7 classes or 9 classes. And then you would come back to your homeroom class before the end of the day.
But yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, getting back on the grandiose narcissist. So just to let you know what a grandiose narcissist is often referred to as an overt narcissist. It's someone with an exaggerated sense of self-importance, entitlement, and an obsessive need for admiration. Unlike vulnerable covert narcissists who hide their deep insecurities, grandiose narcissists are outgoing, highly visible, and genuinely believe they are superior to others. To me, a lot of these things have a lot of importance with me knowing, with me learning more, and with me being able to identify different things that I went through in my life. And the beautiful thing about history is that it's connected to the present, and the present is what's connected to the future. So it's like you can't have one without the other. Sometimes we get things that happen to us, past events, that it'll stay stored inside. Sometimes you bottle it up, because a lot of things, when my mom passed away, it's a lot of things that I went through that I bottled them up for like 19 years, and just recently started talking about things, and went like almost 2 decades with a lot of stuff bottled up.
And you get caught up in life, and
yeah, then you get busy in life, and we had our shops, we was running, we were busy, I'm doing hair and traveling and just all kind of things, and it doesn't go anywhere, you know what I'm saying? It stays there. But universally, whatever it is, I think when it's time, it's time, you know what I'm saying? Because it's better to not be dragging a bunch of weight around with you every single day, every week, every month, every year, just dragging all this excessive weight that's keeping you from shining and growing. For me, everybody's system different, but for me, when all of that stuff happened, and those are all different stories within themselves, and everything it can't be said all at once. All of these are processes. That's why they're called episodes, you know what I'm saying? And if anything was to ever happen to me, my episodes are already known. They're already doctrine. They're already written, and they're already in the possession of people that if anything was to ever happen to me, those people will make sure my story is told. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, getting back to that. So, it's been less than 5 years since I've been talking about a lot of these things, because like I said, I had it all bottled up like in a pickle jar, twist real tight. But when my mom passed away, I went through a lot of bad things with my sister and my brother, which led us to not speaking for years, And it's like, during those things, which are whole other stories, like I was saying, I was experiencing things from my sister that I had never experienced before, and things that I didn't know how to label or deal with. But she had people that were attacking me, that were coming at me, people that didn't like me, people that harassed me, people that just, they came for me. And it took me to actually learn about narcissism to realize that all of those people were flying monkeys. And I just read, you got different levels of flying monkeys. You got people, once a narcissist makes themselves a victim, they have to get other people to draw into their storyline. Everybody's different. That's why in the previous episode I said you have to pay attention to what people say and you have to remember everything they say. But when a narcissist draws you into their victim storyline, some people get pissed off and they feel like they want to help that person. Like, how dare them do that to you? And that's what happened with one situation involving my cousin Keedy. You remember Keedy? So me and my sister was going through something, and I don't think she know that I've observed her from when I changed her diapers and was feeding her all the way into adulthood. I'm the oldest child. I'm the one that's changed her diapers and fed her. I'm the one seeing her take her first steps, etc., etc., etc. I've always observed her close hand from day one, you know? But she took me through other twists and turns in life that it helped me because it made me stronger, and then it made me educate myself about some of the things that I was going through that I'd never been through with anybody else in this world. And it started in childhood, like I told you, with all of my toys that I have. And I'm an older child, you know, you see your younger sibling have interest in your toy and you let them hold it and then they damage it and they break it. The average child is going to want their toy back so they can try to fix it. But my mom was, wherever she was at mentally, when she will observe this and I take my toy back because I want to fix my Transformer, I want to fix my G.I. Joe. When I take my toy, my sister started crying. My mom comes to coddle her, give it back to her. No, she just broke my toy. I need to fix my toy. Instead of, because she was old enough to know right from wrong. So I think a parent's supposed to be like, no, you don't break your brother's toys. You know, you take care that he's sharing. You know, you're supposed to go through all of that with a child. Take your time and do it right. If you don't, it's just going to grow into something bad, which is what it did. So in those younger days that went unshaped, unstructured, always running, you know, when this child cried and coddling her and never disciplining her, etc., it's been carried up into adulthood and it gets ugly. You know what I'm saying? So, as I was saying, when my mom passed, me and my sister went through something horrible, like really bad. But anytime we go through something, she pulled other people in. And I learned that those other people she pulled in, those are flying monkeys. Everybody's different, so they gonna handle things different. They gonna take things different. They gonna do things different. But Keedy is my cousin that I grew up with, and we were like sister and brother. You know what I'm saying? Keedy was 1 year older than me, and Keedy understood me like no other cousin. 1 minute, you can find me and Keedy climbing trees, jumping fences, throwing rocks. And then the next minute, you can find me and Keedy playing with Barbie dolls, doing girl stuff. That's how we were. Later in life, my sister put Keedy into one of me and her situations, and Keedy automatically took up for my sister. I don't know if Keedy knew that she was a flying monkey at that moment. What do they call them? The naive deceive. You know what I'm saying? It's called the naive deceive. You're naive to the situation and you're being deceived by the narcissist. Well, she pulled Keedy into our situation, and then it became Keedy doing her dirty work for my sister. From that point, me and Keedy relationship had never been the same. And now Keedy passed away. And my sister affected me and Keedy relationship, you know, through that narcissistic energy where Keedy had nothing to do with it. Then the dude that my sister was dating, which I'm not going to call him a man, that's why I said dude, she pulled him into it. And before you know it, he's lashing out at me. So when that was happening, I didn't know anything about narcissism. I didn't know anything about gaslighting. I didn't know anything about flying monkeys.
Narcissist than she was.
Yeah.
Because he was waiting for that opportunity anyway, because he's trying to infiltrate her family.
Yeah. And that man...
And he wanted that control over her.
I just said I wasn't going to call him no man.
Yeah, he wanted the control over her anyway.
That person, that dude that she pulled into the situation... He played a further part in the destruction of the piece of the small family that we had. You know what I'm saying? I had people at odds with me and people against me that didn't even know me. They were going off of things that somebody said, a narrative that was painted by somebody. You know what I'm saying? That never had met me, didn't know me, never had sat and ate dinner with me. Didn't never have no long, decent conversation with me, did not know me. That's a flying monkey. And like you said, he's in his own rights, he's a narcissist as well. So yeah, it's just a long story to a lot of that, but I'm just letting y'all know how deep narcissism and flying monkeys and gaslighting and all that. And while I said the word gaslighting, let me give y'all the definition of this term. Hold on, let me go on my little notes. Okay. Gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation and emotional abuse where a person makes someone doubt their own memories, perceptions, or sanity. The goal is to distort the truth and gain power, leaving the victim confused and dependent on the abuser. Common signs and tactic: blatant denial, denying that an event happened or twisting the facts. Dismissing emotions, trivializing feelings so the victim doubts their emotional reactions. Blame shifting, making the victim feel responsible for the abuser's toxic behavior. Discrediting, undermining the victim's mental stability in front of others. How you recognize it? You might be experiencing gaslighting if you frequently second guess your judgment, constantly feel like you are the problem, apologize unnecessarily, or feel isolated and anxious. It can occur in any relationship, including romantic partnerships, workplace, or families. So it was all of those different terminologies. I knew nothing about them when it was happening. And Kevin was there as well. You know what I'm saying? Throughout all of that stuff that took place, that I went through with my sister after my mom passed. I was already mourning the loss of my mom, right? And my brother, in a lot of ways, he was a striker of matches. Them two were like a duo. You know, they're closer in age to one another than they are with me. You know what I'm saying? I got my sister about 6 years. I got my brother about 9 years. So they're closer in age, and they've been partners in crime. So he's been a striker-upper of a lot of different things. And at the same time, part of him, I needed him to be the way he was because he would tell me things about her, as well as other family members would tell me things about her. And I've stood in her corner so many times when people said things were a certain way about a lot of things. I've had her back. I've never lied about my sister. I never spread malicious untruths. I never did anything bad about my sister, to her, about her, verbally, physically, spiritually, mentally. She cannot say I ever did anything bad to her. You know what I'm saying? But throughout all of those different things that I went through with her, it led me and Kevin in a situation, which I may talk about that in the other episodes, but it had us without anywhere to live for a minute. This is when my mom passed and we had moved to Miami to take care of my mom. So that's a whole nother story within itself. But we regained our bearings and we picked up and carried on with life. So it's a lot of things that people go through where you may have been a flying monkey for somebody that's a narcissist. I know I have been a flying monkey for a narcissist. And there's a lot of y'all watching this show. You may have unknowingly been a flying monkey for a narcissist. So it's like when somebody tells you a sob story, when somebody tells you somebody violated them, somebody victimized them, somebody hurt them, whatever the case is, the best thing to do is hit pause and get as much as the story that you can, because family wise, if it's a male that gets his sister or his mom or his aunt, any female in his family come to him and tell him that a man did her wrong or this person did her wrong. A lot of us don't want to see our mama hurt. We don't want to see our sister hurt. We don't want to see our girl, cousin, or aunt. So you automatically push into fight or flight mode. You automatically go to defend this female that you see as some type of damsel in distress, right? But that's not the way to go about it. You always got to remember to hit pause, and you need as much as the story that you can get. And even if it's a possibility for you to hear that other person's side of the story, it don't mean that you love your person less. Whether whoever it is that came to you, it don't mean you love them less. It means that you're trying to gain a broader understanding of what's going on so that you can know how to navigate. You know what I'm saying? Because like in some instances, you get a sister that might come to a brother and tell her that the dude that she's with, he hit her, he assaulted her physically. The average brother finna be like, WTF? Where that N-word at? I'm finna get. But the brother might not know that the sister hit the dude first. You get what I'm saying?
Back in the days, that's 90% of what it was.
Yeah, so and that's a form of being a flying monkey right there, because it's like you going to do the dirty work for somebody that's the initiator of the problem that's going on, but you don't know. If you don't try to get as much of the story, you just jumping in there, and that's how people become flying monkeys. You're like the naive deceived. And then sometimes, like I said, you might be on that same energy that the narcissist is on, and y'all just throwing chips into the flames together, and then y'all pushing full speed ahead. And then some people might be afraid of becoming the target of the narcissist that they become. And I know situations like that in so many different levels, But yeah, I think we gotta know the whole story. And I feel like I'm saying too much, so take the floor.
No, I'm not looking to balance it out.
Well, you know how I am. But yeah, it's like we just have to, when it comes to you hearing anything from anybody, you gotta gain as much of the story as you can before you initially react. I know as humans, we're gonna just automatically, but you gotta gain everything that you need to know. And I heard a comedian talking about that. He said if he's out with his girl and the dude slap her or whatever and she come running at him, he gonna say, now what did you do? Remember we heard somebody say that? And she, looking at him crazy. But yeah, you gotta find out from that person if you've been violated, if you've been assaulted or whatever the case is. If it's you, sometimes you can be like, what did you do? Because the way people tell stories, people automatically wants you to believe them.
Or be on their side.
Yeah, and then if you believe in them and you on their side, then I think the next step from that is that you're going to try to find a way to help them retaliate.
That was just like that creature telling, give me back my house. Because we met it first, so we didn't even see the other female, but we met it first, so automatically from the misperception that we got of her being decent from listening to AJ.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We just let our guards down because it seemed nice, and then we thought it was older than what it was. That this old person can't be bad, and that's not true. All old people are just old. Some of them are just as corrupt and crazy as the younger ones.
And the old ones used to be young.
Yeah,
so yeah.
And they used to be, and worse. Yeah, because we we've seen the old ones that said like they will use their age as an advantage.
That's gonna be a topic too. We're gonna do a topic on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when what Kev is talking about, yeah, we was renting because we didn't live somewhere everywhere. We was renting the downstairs basement floor from somebody, and she had went through a divorce, and she was struggling financially, so us renting from her helped her regain her bearings financially. But renting from somebody, she lived in the upper level of the house, we interacted and tried to become a family, but this is again, you know, you live and you learn, but everything that she said that went on in her marriage and what led to the divorce, we automatically believed what she was saying. We never met her, the person that she, you know, broke up with. We never met them. We never had a conversation with them. We never sat and ate dinner with them or anything, but we just automatically believed what this female was saying. And it took
because we took it is to be a decent person. That's the biggest thing, because the way things were going, we were actually was really open like that because of our pets. We were trying to keep all our pets together.
Yeah, and what happened, it took, and that's what I just said, you know, you can't just go with the flow and believe what people say. You have to remember there's more than one side to a story. So what wound up happening is that once we stayed there long enough, and you know how they say people representative wear off. Mm-hmm. Her representative had worn off, and there was other people. We
saw cracks. We started seeing cracks in her anyway. Like when the story came up about, I did crack.
Yeah.
And then we sitting there waiting
and
for her.
That's deceptive because I feel like
we're sitting there waiting for her to finish the story, and she goes on to talk about something else. And then 5 or 6 days go by, we're sitting around talking again. Then she brings like, oh no, I only did it. I have never heard no crack addicts. Oh no, I only did it for 2 years.
But yeah, that's true what Kel's saying.
So yeah, that's insane.
And what happened? It took for us to, like, when her representative wore off, and even before that, let's hit rewind. So before we went there to rent the basement from her, we weren't paying attention to the fact that there were other people that rented and then they were not there no more. So it was no red flags on anything, you know, it was full speed ahead. And we had, you know, a friend of ours that introduced us to him. He was living there, and then we had somebody, you know, that was related to us that was living there. All of them people wound up bumping heads with her, and everything was still good on our end. We still was taking up for her, seeing things her way, which is something, that's what I say, you don't do that. And it took for her to eventually bump heads with us, and then it's like we started seeing her in a different light, because it's like, okay, now it's her bumping heads with us. Like all of the other people that she told us victimized her. She was a victim in every story that she told us. So it's like we took her side 1,000%. So then when it came to her bumping heads with us, it's like she made herself the victim against us, and we was always in good energy. We went beyond the line of call because we were just renters, you know what I'm saying? But manipulatively, she turned us into repairmen. She turned us into landscapers. She turned us into door repairmen. She turned us into pool men, putting a pool together and stuff that we don't even know about, but we learned from trying to, you know, that's why you got to hit pause and you got to see who you're really dealing with. And it's like, we got to take our times. And that even applies to us.
But still, karma happens to everybody. So wherever she's sitting at now, if it's still here, because it was barely hanging on, because that AM, she couldn't even get out of bed. She was throwing up, and I was like, what the?
The representative had wore off.
Yeah.
And what happened, like, I think it's best to, like, keep it real. If you rent into somebody, like, because like Kel said, later on, she wound up telling us that she used to do crack. You know what I'm saying?
Which means that she was still doing crack.
Yeah, I think once a crackhead, I think always a crackhead. You know what I'm saying? Just like once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. You always one hit or one drink away from being back there. So had she said something about that in the beginning, it would have gave us a better way to navigate or to decide whether we wanted to rent from this person.
I already know we wouldn't have went there.
Yeah, so that was deceptive from the beginning. So it started out with deception and it just went on. So it's like once we bumped heads, we start reanalyzing everything she told us about, you know, her marriage, and we were like, you know what? she was the problem. That person gone, and just like we finna be gone, just like AJ gone, just like my cousin gone, just like the other couple that was renting is gone. All these people gone, and they not gone.
Now they mentioned that horrible smell that was in her house upstairs.
Yeah,
that was the main reason why we didn't go upstairs.
Yeah, them
See,
people.
that was probably them.
Ain't no telling.
Crack.
Ain't no telling. And the people that left,
all the roaches she had up there.
Yeah, it was just crazy. But yeah, she was a narcissist. You know what I'm saying? Even with her family members, when her cousin came to visit her, then he victimized her. He went back to North Carolina. Oh, y'all would never believe such and such and such and such. Every story that she told,
she was a victim.
Yeah, it depending on the accessibility that we had or what we can do, it could have turned us into flying monkeys. But the storylines that she told us were about people that we had no access to. And even if we did have access to them, it's not to say that we would have went and did something, because we didn't even know her, like that. But yeah, so it's just like, the goal is to avoid becoming a flying monkey. You could be at work, it could be a co-worker that come and tell you something about how a manager doing them or how a other fellow co-worker doing them. And I've learned, don't automatically take sides, because if you automatically take sides, you're doing yourself a disservice, because
get all the facts.
You need to know as much of the story that you can know.
Get all the facts, know all the truth.
And that's like, with the situation of what we went through when we moved to Miami, what I went through with my sister. There's so many relatives that I can name that just automatically took her side, and that she still dealt with, and probably to this very day, they still deal on one level or another. And I've learned that from this same person that we was just talking about that we was renting from, you share stories with other people. The good that I did take from her, when I was sharing situations with her, was the fact, because she was a therapist. She was a therapist.
That needed a therapist.
That needed therapy. Yeah, she said she had a therapist of her own too. But yeah, so she was a therapist. So it's like talking to people about certain situations. One of the goods that I did take from her when I told her about that situation, she was like, look, she said, you could be one person right here and there could be a million people over there. She was like, you stand in your truth. No matter what's going on over there, you stand in your truth. And that's what happened. I didn't know that those words verbatim like that, but that's what we did when we was going through the situations we was going through in Miami. It was so many people over there. And then you had the people in the middle that were just gossipers that wanted to know what was going on so they could spread information.
Collapsed.
And they didn't
things still collapsed.
Yeah. And the people that were gossiping, because the way my family is shaped and set up, things, it circulate, it get around. And there's probably a lot of people family like that. And I've been able to witness a lot within Kev family to where I know he has narcissists in his family, as well as him being able to witness a lot in my family to know that I have narcissists in my family. I've been able to witness enough to see that he's been a flying monkey for people he cared about, and I've been a flying monkey for people that I've cared about. You know what I'm saying? So the goal in life is not to become a flying monkey. If you don't become a flying monkey, that limits the resources of a narcissist, because narcissists want somebody else to do their dirty work for them. You know what I'm saying? Narcissists are manipulators. They're liars. They want everything. They're entitled. It's a lot of different things that come with that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, once you know what you're dealing with, you know how to navigate, And it's just, it's crazy. It's crazy. And then in the workplace, if somebody come and tell you something, them are co-workers. You coming to work for your check. So it's like, that probably ain't even a avenue to even take. If they need somebody to listen, maybe you could just listen and then be like, so what you eating for lunch? Yeah.
To get caught up in anything like that at work, you're not doing your job.
Yeah, because you come to work. But yeah, the way people are, so many people come so many different ways. And it's just crazy. But yeah, a lot of the stuff that we go through, what they say, what don't kill you, it makes you stronger. And it's like, and then we learn from a lot of them, because had I not gone through all of those things, my mindset would not be keen, it would not be open, it would not be understanding of something, because experience is like, it's the best teacher, you know. And it's just, yeah, it's crazy. But people that narcissists are in affiliation with, people that they group with, people that they consort with, people that they communicate with, people that they tell things about their target, what they have to realize is that all of them people don't keep their mouth shut. You know what I'm saying? People talk. And it's so many things that that I heard said about me. And what I don't understand in my situation, where you have an older brother and a younger sister, I've never seen in my entire family where you have this younger sister that just guns for her older brother. That ain't did nothing to her. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen that in my life. I don't know if it's just hatred, if it's jealousy, if it's a strong dislike. I don't know what that is, but in my family, there's no other females that I can name to you that has ever been that way to their brothers. Like, I don't get it.
Well, I know I got it in mind.
I don't get it.
And it's from multiple brothers.
There's
only 2 girls in the family.
Well, it makes no sense. It makes no sense when you know it's a person that has been there for you, that has had your back in various ways, and then you get older and you just,
in their minds, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to look out for me. You're supposed to do for me.
The parents are supposed to protect me. Yeah, that's what they looking at. What you saying? That's what the parents are the ones that brought them into the earth. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's the siblings. I feel like the siblings don't have no strong obligation like that, but like the parents do, because the parents are the parents. But I think well-balanced siblings, loving siblings, caring siblings, I think they stand in on the front line, because it helps the parents out. You know what I'm saying? Because you got, if that child, that older child has been raised right, it's like you got help with shaping the kids that are coming after that child if you do things properly. But in my mama's situation, when my mama would leave my siblings with me, and you know, like I said, Nika being handicapped, Nika couldn't walk, she couldn't talk, she couldn't feed herself, you know, she had no, you know, mobile skills as far as like, you know, even holding a spoon, she couldn't hold anything. It was a lot of work. My sister came after Nika. My sister was just all kind of bad, like disrespectful, inconsiderate, unruly, just everything, to where I said, you know, we had this thing where, because my grandma disciplined me on being a clean person and taught me how to cook and all that. So when my mom would leave, I would tell my siblings, you know, Nika couldn't do anything. So Nika, you know, she did whatever she wants. She'll crawl around the house, sit on the chair, whatever. So I would tell my sister and my brother, okay, I had this thing where, okay, we're going to clean up the house. We're going to cook us some good food, and we finna watch us some good movies, you know, until my mama get back home. My brother would be with it sometimes, and then my sister was never with it. Like, she would snatch the front door open and just jet out in the streets and be gone until my mama get back. And like I said, when she really wanted to piss me off, she'd get rocks and just throw rocks at the house, at the windows, at the door, and it was just crazy. So when my mama would get back, I would tell my mama what happened, and she would do that little crying thing again. You can't make her clean up if she don't want to clean up. You're not her daddy. You don't tell her to clean. What parent does that? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's just crazy.
You can't, and whatever it is, it's set and it festered and it became something bad, because it's like, if you don't want me disciplining them on cleaning up or teaching them, don't leave your children with me.
That doesn't make any sense.
That's what I went through with my mama.
I'm going to leave my kids with you, but don't you try to discipline them. Don't you try to tell them to do anything till I get back.
That's what I went through, the craziness like that with my mama. And it's like they created a narrative to where I was the bad guy.
Wow.
Because I tried to make them clean up. And you know, we gonna cook and we finna look at good movies and AC on, you know, because it's hot outside in Miami. And just, you know, it was crazy.
Mine was different.
It was crazy.
I had a larger family. So if I'm 2 years older than Melissa, I'm 7 years older than Philip. She's 5 years older than Philip.
Mm-hmm.
She's 7 years older than Norman. She's 9 years older than Greg. She's 11 years older than Randy. If I'm
Wow, that's a big old
yeah,
gap.
big gap. Because when Philip was born, I was 7 and going on 8. Or I was 8 years old when Philip was born.
Mhm.
So that makes me 7 years older than him.
Mhm.
So I'm 2 years older than Melissa. So that's you have to do the math
Mhm.
as each one of them came up.
Mhm.
So when we get out of school, and because we get home before we were always trying to rush to get home before they did.
Mhm.
So I said, okay, when we get home, this is what we're gonna do. I try to have a plan with her. She goes straight to sleep. She'll sleep from the whole time till after that. If it was a Saturday, she'll sleep the entire time till my mom's get home from work. And we did the exact same things just the night before. If it was Friday night, we probably went out, walked over to my sister's house or whatever, and came back home. She did the exact same things I did, but I got to get up and clean up, feed the kids, and do all the kind of stuff. Because I played with them throughout the whole entire day because I didn't want them running out in the streets.
Right.
Like one time, Philip, I had to wear his ass out. He thought he was going to just run out of the house. I said, no, the hell you not. He snatched the door open. I slammed his back shut.
What is that?
Told him not to go and get dressed because I know his friends are swimming coming over to pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
He gets dressed. I stripped him in front of the door. I had opened the door with his friend standing there, stripped his ass and whooped his ass, made him go back. And guess what happened to his friends?
What?
Wherever they went at that he would have been with them, they went to jail.
See?
To this day, he still talks about that. Because he would have been to jail if I wouldn't have been a big brother to him and made him, listen to what I'm trying to tell him to do as the right thing.
And that's what, how you just said that. So remember how you said you kept him from snatching the door and leaving, right?
Mm-hmm.
When my sister would do that, what if she would have got hit by a car? What if she would have got kidnapped? What if she would have got unalived? What if she would have got raped? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's so many things that could have took place with that.
For a girl.
And then this is a girl.
Yeah.
An unruly, disobedient, bad girl. And then it's like I told you, my mama will say, you don't make her, she ain't got to climb if she ain't want to. Then I tell my mama, well, she snatched the door open and she been in the street since you been gone. My mama don't discipline her on that. Oh, she been throwing rocks at the house and at the window. My mama never disciplined her on that. It just was like I was in this crazy twilight zone. And then it's like here, now you become adults. And all of that unnurturing, unstructuring, undisciplining, it turns into a beast when you get older to the point of where you don't deal with each other,
And then as
it's
a
just
person,
crazy.
she gonna grow because she gonna think that she's right with anything she do.
Yeah. And that's how my mama was.
Yeah.
They never accept accountability. And she has so many of my mama bad traits. And I don't even think she
I don't even know how she even make it in the workplace.
I don't know about the workplace thing.
I'm saying I don't know how she gonna make it in the workplace because
yeah, but
she got a thing with authority.
Yeah, that's why I say I don't know about the workplace thing, because I don't even know if she's been a workplace type of person. You know the history of how things went with who she got with and how all of that. Yeah, but I get where you coming from. But yeah. Some females get with men, or they find simps, or they find weak dudes that they can distract.
She better hope that
different ways
lasts her lifetime, because once he's gone, what's she gonna do?
And this is the crazy thing to me. When it comes to sisters, I think a sister should have a bond with her brother like none other. And I think the sister should never get too big for her brother. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to remember that being a sister, any man you get with, if he hits you, if he violates you, whatever the case may be, who you run to help you? Like I was just saying earlier, who do you run to defend you if some man you with go upside your head? Even if you hit him first and you still need help, you got to run to your brother. You got to run to your father, whatever man figure. But it's usually a sister running to her brother, right? So I think a sister relationship with her brother is supposed to be there. You know what I'm saying? In my family, and a lot of people I know, where you got relationships with sisters and brothers usually fall apart, or they stop speaking or stop dealing with each other. Majority of the cases, I'm going to say 99% of the cases, it was something on the sister's behalf that made the relationship not work. So it's like a lot of females be doing too much. You know what I'm saying? Men are more simpler than females. Females are more complex than men are, but it's like not all females are like that, because we know of a lot of females that do their checks and their balances and they keep themselves in alignment with how they're supposed to be. Then you got some females that is my way or the highway. They pedal to the metal, you know, and it's crazy. It's crazy. But with that narcissism, they got to keep people around them. And what I've learned with most narcissists, they cater to people's needs. So say, for instance, if you got somebody that like Nestle Crunch candy bars, shout out to Nestle Crunch. But yeah, if you got somebody that like Nestle Crunch candy bars, narcissists are going to stay highly stocked with Nestle Crunches so they can keep you around. If you got somebody that's always running out of money, a narcissist is going to be like, how much you need? I got you. Don't worry about that. They're going to do things to keep people in their net.
And find their companionship.
They pay for it. And that's something that, as me and Kel said, we never pay for anybody's time. We never pay for anybody's company. People that have been around us,
gravitate to us.
They just came like magnets and they were just there. And it's like, what I'm going to say, because when I thought that me and my sister was going to be on good terms, we communicated on the phone a lot, but I was still in observation mode. I was still paying attention. I was still analyzing and assessing. All of the people that, because like I said, as humans, we talk about people. You know what I'm saying? So people that me and my sister talked about.
Mostly you only talk about people you care about.
Yeah. And then we talk about.
You have the other people that just talk.
Yeah.
Mostly you talk about people you care about.
And then this is what I'm going to tell y'all. I'm part comedian. You know, when it comes to relatives and even with Kev, I like to make people laugh. So we got my one cousin, Jill. Mm-hmm. I'm going to just say, y'all, she's not pleasing on the eyes. And I think to a lot of people, she's not pleasing on the eyes. And I think my sister feels that way too. So what would happen during the days that I was trying to have a relationship with my sister when I thought we was going to be cool, she would send me hideous pictures of Jill. She would send me hideous videos of Jill. And I'm looking like WTF. So, you know, if me and her communicate by text message, I'm like, I'm about to make her laugh because I'm finna text some funny mess, you know, or we on the phone, you know, and she just rolling and she laughing, and just, it felt good to be making, because I like to make people laugh too, you know. But my thing is, if me and you got that kind of relationship, and if it's a specific person that we talking about, you know, okay, yeah, I don't like to deal with them because of this, or I don't deal with them because of that. And then you go back around, and that same person is a person that you're entertaining and you're accommodating, and you rolling red carpets out. That's gonna have me scratching my head. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cause that's two-faced activity. Like I don't understand that. So it's like, it's things like that when I say you have to pay attention, because Jill is on the outside and don't know what kind of communication is going on about her between me and my sister. But when my sister is dealing with Jill, oh yeah, I'm gonna have, you know, a 4th of July party. You guys come, we're cooking, we're grilling, you know, this and that. That's confused energy. You get what I'm saying? Because that means you're being one way with somebody, and then you've been another way with somebody, then you've been another way with somebody. It's acting, and it's life is too short for that. Like, that's not the way to be, especially when you have children, you know? And that's another thing when it comes to manipulators and narcissists and people that are self-centered. They don't even acknowledge the fact that their children need certain people in their life for proper development, you know? So it's like, in most cases, I've seen them where females, if you're on a bad term with a female, she don't want you to deal with her kids or her grandkids or anything like that. You can't be that way because you disservicing that child. You know what I'm saying?
But that shows you how corrupt, how dysfunctional they are, for them to involve their children in their insane mess that they're telling you you don't have access to their children because because you and them are not talking.
It's crazy.
I don't want you talking to my kids or my grandkids.
It's crazy.
What kind of craziness is that?
Yeah. It's really crazy. And like I said, it takes some stuff take you a long time to learn. Some stuff take you a long time to catch on to, because I think as older siblings, when you look at your younger siblings, you still see that child in them until they force you. They force you to look at them as regular people.
I used to.
Yeah.
Everyone, even my older siblings that we're not on the same page anymore.
Yeah.
My two older brothers have always been the same with me.
It's crazy.
They've always been my big brothers. Everybody up under them, I don't even see them the same no more. I see them as the way they presented themselves to me.
It's like you gotta push past the that childhood thing. Yeah, it's crazy.
But I'm still gonna be who I am. I'm still gonna be myself with them.
It's crazy. And it just so many things just. It's like I say, I'm in my 50s now, and I can be out gardening and just doing different things, and the voice of reason visits me. It's like a spirit comes and talks to me and makes me do total recalls of events that I've been through with people, and then it's like it explains to me. I get a clarity of what's what. Like I say, whether I was in the wrong, whether the other person was in the wrong, or whether we both were wrong. It's an energy that speaks to me that I don't ignore, And it's like with, my sister's situation, we got, how when your family starts off with a base name and then people get married and they branch out. So we have this one family called the Williams, and it's confusing to me because those are the people that she basically idolizes and she worships. One of my cousins, Tony, which it's just so much that it's just crazy that's been a mentor, a idol for her, to where you get to situations where you will see this person putting those people before their main people. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Where they can be treated wrong by somebody or overlooked or not considered, and then they just dust off and get back into the game because they idolize this family or these people so much while they neglecting their own family. You get what I'm saying? And I have seen this firsthand, as well as things that me and my sister has talked about when it came to the Williams, when it came to Tony and various things. But some kind of how you dust your hands back off and then you back there with them. But it's like, with the people that are closer to you, that are part of your fabric that you was knitted from, like her big brother, she has no problem with gunning for me, spreading malicious rumors or lies about me, trying to discredit me, throw dirt on my name. She has no problem with doing that to her brother, but when it comes to all of the variations of other people within our family that supposedly violated her, it's like she's scared of them. And it's really confusing. How could you be scared of all of those people, but then your own brother you would try to destroy? Like I don't get that for the life of me. That's why I say I don't know if it's a strong hatred. I don't know if it's a jealousy. I don't know what that is.
It's a combination.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Let me tell you, I had my younger sister had this thing where her so-called best friend, the same girl that used to beat her up every day at the end of school. I used to have to run to her school to get there, and the first time I met her, I thought it was a guy.
Wow. She was a rough girl?
Rough as fuck. She had this real low hair.
She was like,
she had real low hair. She had snot in her nose. She was dirty.
Wow.
And she smelled. So when I came into the classroom, and the teacher was scared of her. But she had the teacher, Melissa, behind her, and she was in front of the teacher's desk. Mm-hmm. So when I came in, I went to a punch in her stomach because I thought it was a guy. And then she told me she was a girl. And I looked at her, a girl. I looked at her funny like that. So that's when I first my introduction to her. So as time go on, and I got to know who she was, and we kind of like grew up together playing, me playing with her cousins and her and her sisters. That to the point where Melissa and them became friends. Mm-hmm. So as time went on, I done moved away, and everybody got they done had kids. She done had kids. I don't know if Carol had kids. I don't even think Carol had any kids. Not to the time I was there. Mm-hmm. So anyway, time go on. Her and her girl named her friend I'm talking about lived together when they had their boyfriends living in with them too. So when I moved from Virginia back to South Carolina, right before the Harvard Fest happened in '88 in Norfolk, Virginia. Virginia Beach. That's where Fight the Power and all that started. Okay. Before I moved away from there 2 weeks before that happened, and me and my sister moved into my older sister's house because she ended up going to Columbia. So her best friend and her boyfriend brings the kids, the children playpen about as big as this, and it stands kind of tall. It's got netted fabric all around it. There's a playpen for children.
Yeah.
So, all the stuff that she had left in the house that they shared together, her and her boyfriend had that on top of the roof of their little Honda Civic. If it was a Honda, no, it was an Escort. So,
oh, wow.
Now, mind you, if he's driving, even if he's driving and holding it with one hand, somebody got to be on the other side to hold it. Now, mind you, there's a perfectly big square thing, and it was filled to the top with all the kids' stuff in it to the point where the stuff had to be about this tall. So she either had to be outside holding
like
it,
a man
as he hitting these right turns and left turns. I'm serious. They have me hitting these right turns and left turns, and had to be driving 25, 30 miles per hour. That's still fast. Holding something in place with that's not strapped down to the roof.
Wind blowing.
Yeah, on a roof. So we're in the house talking, and I heard a clink at the front. When I open the door, I see this big thing that's filled. I'm telling you, it is filled to the top, and they're gone. So not only did she help hold it on top of the roof of the car, she had to help pick it up to put it on the porch. So ain't no way in hell a man and a woman delivered this. It had to be two men. Two big, strong men.
That's crazy.
And then even go past that, 2 weeks later, I get off work early. I'm coming home, and before I even open the door, I hear two female voices talking about me. Talking about me, not in a good light. Now, mind you, I work 11:30 at night, and not only did I work and run to work and run home, I'm taking care of bills while my sister's laying on her ass to get a check every month. I'm actually working, and I'm taking care of her kids because like when I get home and when I wake up at 3:30, 4 o'clock, she waking up at 3:30, 4 o'clock. Then she trying to get dressed and sneak out and leave me with her kids, and that was for the whole entire year that I was there. This particular night made me move out, and I said fuck her and her. That's her kids. That's her responsibility. The next following week, I was looking to move out, and I moved up here to Atlanta, Georgia. That was the reason why, because I come home. Here's the same. Her and her girlfriend sitting there drinking beers like men, talking about me.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Yeah, I cursed her ass out. She called herself walking up behind me.
It's a bad feeling.
I had to catch myself because I'm about to slam my head against the damn door.
Yeah.
So I had to catch myself, and I let her go in the house. I said, you know what? That's it. All right. I ain't got nothing else to do with your ass. And I should have left it there. But I still try to be a big brother, and because of her kids, what did we do for that Christmas when you know what I'm saying? I'll
I know it's a bad feeling like for you to have heard her talking about you, and then you ain't do nothing
that let
bad
me know
to
who
her.
she, but still that let me know who I was dealing with.
That's why stuff like that, I think it has to happen.
Yeah.
So you can know who you're dealing with.
That's
Even
right.
like, remember when we had the conversation of when my cousin gave my sister my phone number for her and my brother. She could have gave both of them the number,
She
right?
should have gave both
She
of them
should
the
have,
number.
but you know what I took out of that? The way it happened, I needed it to happen that way too, because if you give somebody's sister their number who the sister has spoken to in years, you would think that sister would call that person as soon as she hang up with who gave her the number, right? I needed to see that she would sit on my number for months, because that means that she didn't want to communicate with me. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So the way that happened, even though my cousin should have gave both of them the numbers individually, number for you, her giving it to my sister and leaving it to my sister to give to my brother, and then my brother telling me he been asking my sister for the number for months, That means she didn't want me and my brother to have a relationship. She didn't want us to communicate. And she didn't, because I'm the child of my mama children that I'm going to speak the truth. I got the strongest history because I was born first. I'm the realest. I don't fear any of our family members. That's the thing with me and my sister. You know, like how you said you heard your sister talking about you. All of the things that I heard from different family members of what my sister said about me, yeah, it is what it is. You know, she said things that she said because nobody else would fabricate it or make it up. You know what I'm saying? And then I've witnessed her lying about when me and my cousin Kima got to share notes, things that my sister told me about them and their mom and all that. They was like, that is a bold-faced lie. That's not. So I'm like, wait, so it's really sitting in the fact that my sister tells lies. And it's hard to deal with a liar. That line falls under manipulation and narcissism. You get what I'm saying? I had to literally do strong research on that, and getting to the part of where I told you when my mama would leave us and I try to get them to clean up, right? On the weekends, like once you done went to school on Friday and then you want to spend the night at your cousin's house, they come and pick you up on Friday. You spend Friday with them, Saturday with them, and then they bring the child back home Sunday because they got school on Monday, right? Mm-hmm. So the Williams, they would pick my sister up to come and spend Friday, Saturday with them and bring her home Sunday evening. My Aunt Coral would be telling my mama, "Oh, Murders, your daughter is so clean. She cleaned our entire bathroom. She cleaned behind our toilet, blah, blah, blah." Me and my mama looking at each other like, she don't clean up. And my Aunt Barbara would say the same thing. "Oh, she washed all my dishes." Me and my mama looking at each other like, she don't clean up. Because, when my mama leave, she was just really lazy. Wow. And I tried with every fiber in me that my grandma taught me with to teach my sister to be a clean person, and she always retaliated. She always challenged me. You get what I'm saying? But it's like, how can you do that with your big brother and then you go to all these extended family members' house and you fucking Cinderella over there? Whatever terminology that is, I have not learned the name of that yet.
Serious.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but they would say these things, and it was just crazy.
I can tell you, I've never heard anybody say that about my sister.
It was just crazy. And then on another note, with the Williams, because, my Aunt Cora passed away, that was one of my favorite aunts. My two favorite aunts was Cora and Rosemary. So during the time when Cora was passing, that's when me and my sister I thought, we was trying to be cool with each other. She's calling them, I guess trying to find out what's going on or whatever. All of the Williams are ignoring her. None of them are answering her phone calls. None of them are answering her text messages, right? It hurt her because she started telling me, what happened?
I got that, I can smell it. You don't smell it?
What's that?
That rosemary.
Oh. Yeah, y'all, it get deep, man. This is therapy. But like I said, with everything that y'all hear me say about my siblings, like I would never maliciously paint them in a bad light. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not who I am. But I would share my life experience. Hey, Lola, how you doing? Hey, Lola. Hey, Lola. You Lola. Where Kevin at?
Come on.
But yeah, as I said, I would never maliciously paint them in a bad light because that's not the person that I am. But I will share my life experiences with you because they my life experiences, And as I said, it's a lot of stuff I went through that was real terrible, horrific stuff that I just put it all in a jar and I had twisted the cap on the jar real tight and left it that way for like 19 years. Well, this sage is really strong.
Oh, that's right.
You turned it off?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got a combination of sage and rosemary.
Yeah.
And I said rosemary, and you remember? Wow. But yeah, so getting back to that, yeah. So she's trying to get in contact with the Williams, and it was really bothering her. And I know she was hurt by it. Then she started telling me of the different things she did for people, as far as like this and that with money and this and that. So, make a long story short, the reason I'm saying this is because when somebody finally picked up the phone or responded to her text or whatever, she felt better. But then what her words were to me, oh, if they wouldn't answer, she was going to keep calling them and keep texting them until somebody, you know, answered.
So I wonder, what do you call that? But people that
Mhm.
that treat people that treat them like shit, that treat their family, that treat them with love and kindness, they treat them like, what do you call that?
And the link onto that, the reason I said that is because when me and her started going through a situation, she gave up on that quick. But with the Williams, oh, I was just gonna keep calling them and keep texting them. So you're gung ho for them, and then you just gave up on your brother fast.
So what do they call that?
I don't know what the
It's gotta be
terminology.
yeah.
Whatever y'all know that y'all can teach us, put it in the comments. You know what I'm saying?
I have that with my sister. A woman that when we came down for a visit for my grandfather, my grandmother was living in that when they took over their house from somebody, whoever that was living in their house before they did. We ended up living across the street from them.
Mm-hmm.
So while my mom's and my dad was working, we had to get babysitted by our great aunt. And our great aunt, us coming from New York, everybody had a thing about they either liked or disliked how our accent was. Because we're from the north and they call us Yankees.
Yankees.
So this aunt was, I think at the time she said either in her 80s or she was in her 90s. But she looked like she was old. She looked like an old witch to me at the time, honestly. Her daughter name was Pauline.
Mm-hmm.
They did not treat us at all like family. They treated us like they was like it was something like from a fairy of how a feeble tale was what you would read a book about.
Mm-hmm.
She got tired of taking care of us to the point where for her to feed us, she opened up a can of pork and beans and just took some hot dogs and cut them up and mixed them together. Didn't heat it up and put it in a plate for us to eat.
I think most people heat it up.
And mind you, we were kids.
Yeah, especially for children. Yeah, because I don't think kids know nothing about eating no
cold beans and franks.
I think most people heat it up. Yeah.
And she was, she had a big ass smile on her face while her moms did all this kind of crazy stuff. That was just one of the things that she did, other than like beating us with extension cords with, or a course like this with knots in them, to the point that we both, our legs was bloody. And I said, you know what? I said, she made us sit on the front porch. I said, when she closed that door, I'm telling Melissa, we're gonna run, because I've kind of figured out how to get to my grandma's house. And I said, if I get to our grandma's house, our house right across the street. Mm-hmm. So soon as she closed that door, I grabbed Melissa's hand and I took off running. Now, mind you, we got webs down our legs. Both our legs are bloody. So we get down the street. I make my left turn and this long dirt road. We get to the house and the front door is open, and I can hear my mother's stories playing. Mm-hmm. So it was As the World Turns. Mm-hmm. I remember that music.
Oh yeah, that soap
music,
opera.
Yeah, that's that music for that.
I remember that. Yeah.
So I grabbed Melissa. I'm nervous because I'm like, I went and left the baby. I don't know what that was with paying a babysitter. So I didn't know how my mom's was gonna react to it. So I took Melissa and I went on the side of the house. I'm trying to think what to do, because one, our legs are bloody. Melissa fell and I picked her back up. And I don't know if she got dirt in her wounds. So I'm like, damn, maybe I'll let my mother see her and take care of her. And I take Melissa's leave her to the front door.
Why did she beat y'all again?
You know those CNC little toys? Yeah. You wind them up and they play music and they go all over.
Spin, yeah.
She said she didn't want to hear another sound. So I took the thing and I tried to sit on it. And it went one more time.
It's still going, yeah.
Clink. She came in there and was just swinging that damn and thing. Her daughter standing there with her hands folded looking at us laughing. Yeah.
And that's why I think women don't need to beat kids, because
Melissa is caregiver to her and her son.
It's one thing of forgiving, but then it's another thing when
But then I didn't do anything to her, and me and her we stopped talking almost 3 years ago. When she cried,
that's another one of them things.
I told you that was alligator tissue. When she cried like a baby for me to leave California to come here.
That's another one of them things. But yeah, I don't know. It's a terminology for that, but I don't know what it is. Yeah. But yeah, and like what it is, I think as people, we have to stand in our truth. And you get some situations where I think people that are in the wrong, I think they get that moment, that epiphany, that moment of sudden truth. And I think some of them can take accountability to where they will find out how to communicate with that person or contact that person, and they will apologize, because as life goes on, everybody get older. And just like with my situation with my sibling, like whatever narrative she has created for people that believe her, the time and day will come when people get older and people pass away. Mm-hmm. The truth can never be covered. Like even with slavery, as long as that has happened, it keeps finding its way back to surface to be remembered, to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? So it's like with whatever narratives that she made, when that time of day come that she passed away, my truth still stands. Or, whatever the case may be, that she feel like, she outliving other people. The truth is still there because there's other people that know about the situation. The sad thing about that with all of it, even like with what you just said with your cousin Pauline, is that the children that are involved, which I know your sister's children are grown, but I think they suffer from a type of manipulation as well, where women make their children a form of a flying monkey because those kids stand in for their mama. Because mostly everybody love their mama, and it's like some people mama could be wrong as F, but they'll still defend their mama, or they'll still partner up with their mama. They'll still buddy up and tally with their mama. It still goes back to them because they're not 16 and 12 years old anymore. Yeah. And everybody know right from wrong. Yeah. And even when you see the wrong in somebody, it's wrong. And it could be your mama. That's right. Even if it's your mother, then not only that, the things that they've heard come out her mouth, they know what's wrong. Yeah. And I've heard both of them say, you were wrong for saying that, and then she'll say something to them, and they. Yeah. Thing back up. So no, I don't. I still hold accountability for everybody. Yeah. Everybody has accountability. And it's like on my behalf, like as far as like with me talking about my nieces, like 'cause my sister has kids that I don't know. They don't know me. I don't know them. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different. We never had a relationship. Yeah. That's what you hadn't even seen them. In that instance, I automatically know the person that she is, she has them brainwashed. I know this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's understandable. When we were in communication with each other, she would tell me things that she said, oh, well, I told, she told her daughters this about her in the childhood. I'm like, did she just say that to me? Because that is not true. You know what I'm saying? Like one instance, she told me that my grandma made her drop out of school so that she could take care of my mama. Wow. I was like, wait a minute. My sister, none of my mama kids, none of us ever liked school. You know what I'm saying? My grandma from the old school. You better get in school, you better get this right and da-da-da-da. That's what she was. So she told me that she told her children that my grandma made her drop out of school to take care of my mama when my mama was sick. And I was like, that's not how that went. And then she didn't even do that. That is not how that went. Yeah, because you a witness, yeah. On my mama's deathbed, she moved, she was gone, right? She moved out. And then Vari wasn't even there. Yeah, when we went to visit my mama said she used to be home by herself. We cleaned that house. Yeah, when my mama was terminally ill and my mama was on her deathbed, basically, we went to Miami and we visited my mom, and my mom was like, it wasn't nobody that the house is dirty, refrigerator was dirty, wasn't no food in, et cetera, et cetera. My mama told us that this is how it always is. My brother was out doing his thing. My sister hadn't moved out. That's what made us decide, hey, me and Kev talked. We done had each other back in so many different ways to where Kev family was my family was Kev family. We just intermingled like that, and we just been on so many different adventures. So that was why we had decided to move to Miami, to take care of my mom. That's a whole nother episode within itself, and we this is one episode that we can't just say everything at one time. It steps to everything, but that was that. So it's like whatever picture she painted of her kids, I feel very sad for them because it's like they live in a brainwashed life of a lie. That's sad because they don't have no control over that. Yeah. Their mother's feeding them all these lies. And that's why they don't want me around because I'm the truth holder. I'm gonna say what it really is. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, like I said, it ain't painting nobody in no bad light, and it's not being malicious. But I'm not gonna agree with the bullshit. I'm not. That's just like with slavery. How you say they want to change the word slaves into sharecroppers. Why can't we say what it was? Why we gotta sugarcoat it and twist the truth and manipulate? Why do we have to do that? You get what I'm saying?
The thing in my family is that they're not manipulating the story. They're telling the story, but they're still acting in a whole different, another way, and nobody else sees anything wrong with it.
It's crazy. Yeah, when you get situations like that.
Yeah, they done said everything. They done told you everything.
When you
out
get
of their own mouth. Kevin did this, Kevin did that.
Yeah.
Then you waiting to hear the punchline. Oh, I did this.
You'll never hear it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But we living and we learning, and I think once we find out what it is, you got to navigate accordingly. And sometimes, it leads people to being on this path where, because I think just like the Bible, I ain't no Bible thumper, but there's a passage in the Bible that says the true way is narrow, and the broad way is like that's the way what everybody do. That's like the easy way. But I think the path to that true inner you, the path to I don't know what word I want to use. That path to enlightenment, that path to evolution and growth and prosperity. I think that path is very narrow. I think the path of bullshit is really wide, of lies and manipulation and narcissism and over arrogance. And I think that path is very wide. And then it's like the people that's on that path that have children or whatever, they children wind up in that path until they get older, and then they might want to seek, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, cause it's like a lot of ways my mama was, we take after our parents in so many ways. And basically to say, if you got a parent that's cuckoo, more than likely their kid's gonna have some cuckoo-ness in them. It takes you to regain your bearings and figure out what's what and navigate accordingly. And like I say, thankfully, I had my grandma in my life to help me, you know what I'm saying? Because my grandma, just throughout my being, that's who shaped and structured me. You know what I'm saying? My mama raised my siblings. Nika passed away, and my mama's last two siblings, they were both bad children. And then they turned, in my opinion, they turned into bad adults because they tricky, they manipulative, they lie. As you know, still it's just a lot of bad things. It's a lot of bad things. It's crazy. But there's nobody that I know of, whether it's friends, family, I don't know of no one where there's a sister gunning for her oldest brother in the worst ways. Like, I don't know of nobody else. And I don't think she thinks about that. Like, when you think about our whole family, which so many people, you can't tell me no situation where a sister just been out for her brother. Just gossip. Even in your family with your sisters, I mean, I don't think that they went that deep. You get what I'm saying? Your older sister or your younger sister. And yeah. Oh, but this is what I did want to, I wanted to share this note with y'all. Hold on. Okay. So what usually happens to a narcissist? And I know this is the topic on flying monkeys, but flying monkeys are a part of a narcissistic person. So because narcissists rely on external validation and control to maintain their self-image, their lives usually follow a distinct trajectory as the consequences of their actions catch up with them. Here's what generally happens over time. In personal relationships, isolation. Because they use manipulation, lack empathy, and exploit others, narcissists struggle to maintain long-term healthy relationships. Over time, friends, spouses, and even their own children often distance themselves or cut ties entirely to protect their well-being. This frequently results in deep, chronic loneliness and alienation as they age. Let me repeat that.
Wow.
This frequently results in deep, chronic loneliness and alienation as they age. In their careers, what you were saying about the workplace, in their careers, instability. While narcissists can be highly ambitious and charismatic, often achieving short-term success. Their I'm getting tongue-tied. Their inability to accept feedback, refusal to admit mistakes, and tendency to exploit colleagues eventually damages their reputation. In business and professional settings, this frequently leads to high employee turnover, frequent conflicts, and loss of opportunities when others catch on to their true nature. People always catch on to the true nature of a narcissist.
Wow.
That's why I say you have to pay attention so you don't become a flying monkey unknowingly. The narcissistic collapse. When a narcissist experiences a major blow to their ego, such as a job loss, a relationship breakup, or public humiliation, they cannot process the adversity and maintain their confident image. This triggers what is known as narcissistic collapse. During this phase, their false sense of self crumbles, often resulting in severe anger, vindictive behavior, depression, and lashing out at those closest to them. And you know about the vindictive behavior because you know all of the stuff we went through in Florida. Mm-hmm. My sister's vindictive behavior, it led me and Kev to being homeless for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we got back up and dusted ourselves off, and yeah. Because when we went, it's a long story to all of that, but when we moved to Miami, you know, to help my mom, because my mom said she would be by herself home all the time, we wound up moving into, you know, the place where my mom was living at. So yeah, but that's a long story with all of that. But with time, you know, all right, like I said, if anything ever happened to me, my story is already documented. Like, it's already in the possession of others. So, but the final decline, talking about the narcissist, the final decline. For many narcissists, their final decline begins when they can no longer outrun the consequences of their behavior or maintain their projected illusion. As they lose control over their family, work, and social circles, they may become highly bitter. Lacking a genuine sense of self underneath their facade, they often become desperate, deeply frustrated, and increasingly paranoid. So that life leads to nothingness.
And loneliness.
And loneliness is a dark, black abyss. The thing about narcissism is just like any other ism or whatever you want to say. When we get in it, you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? We were all born with a sense of right and wrong. But like I said, if you are a flying monkey for somebody, it's like you still know right or wrong, but it's the victimization that person is displaying to you about what happened to them. And if they pulling heartstrings, it can make you unknowingly want to help defend them, want to support them, etc., right? So when it comes to narcissism, just like materialism, just like sexism or foodism, it's a thing like so many other things. You get what I'm saying? You can choose to be a certain way or you can choose to not be a certain way. As far as our episode that we was talking about, do we all suffer from mental disorders? The whole world does. So what I'm basically saying is it's not an excuse.
It's a choice.
Yeah, it's not no cap out, no whatever you want to say to give that person any type of pat on the wrist. You know what I'm saying? It's a choice like so many other things. Because you know when you're exploiting somebody, you know when you're acting out vindictively, you know when you're creating illusions and facades, you know when you're self-centered, you know when it's just I, me, I'm kind of a big thing. You know when you're doing that. You get what I'm saying? Because you're choosing these things, you're choosing these words, etc. So yeah, that person always strives for admiration, want compliments, and they'll do so many things to keep people in their circle. But the crazy thing about doing that is that my mom was that way in a lot of ways. And what did I just say to y'all not too long ago? When my mom was on her deathbed, all of them people that my mama catered to, the people that my mama let move in with her, the people that my mama wanted to impress, the people that my mama wanted to see her a certain way, none of them people was there. When my mama needed help, when my mom and my sister and my brother was homeless, she couldn't move with all of them people that she let move in, with her. So it's just it's a lose-lose situation. And it's like, I'm sharing this with y'all because me watching so many different podcasts, there's so many different people out there. Me and Kel watch all these different podcasts, and it actually, hearing from regular people, it touches your lives. It don't take a Oprah Winfrey or what's that man's name? Or Phil, what's his last name? Dr. Phil. It don't take a Oprah Winfrey or a Dr. Phil or a Vanla Vanzette. What's her name?
Who?
In Vanzla Jan.
Oh,
that
what you're
lady.
talking about. I know you're talking about. I couldn't help you with her.
Yeah,
name.
it doesn't take those type of people to necessarily reach you. Those to me are Hollywood images. But when we listen to a podcast and we hear, dang, they went through that too, and then they'll tell you how they navigated through it or how they overcame it or how they're trying to overcome it or where they stuck at. It's human life. You know what I'm saying? It's just people. Where we get to reach out and touch each other and help one another and just educate each other. So that's why, like I say, I have no problem with talking about it. And then, so much of this stuff for me has been bottled up for like 19 years. I guess you could say 20 years. This is 2026. So yeah, a lot of this stuff has been bottled up for me for like 20 years. Kevin, when it comes to his family, there's so much I know. When it comes to my family, there's so much that he knows. But, the way we do things, whenever his time is for him to talk about something or to act on something, that's his time, and vice versa, but we always there. Like, yeah, we and we not perfect, everybody make mistakes in life, and yeah, it is what it is. Anything else?
I think that's gonna cover it.
Yeah, and we want to thank y'all again, and y'all know what flying monkeys are, and it will be good for all of us to research narcissism, because I heard this word before when I was a child. You might hear it in a movie or something, but excuse me. I always thought it was like a funny word to me, like a weird word, but I believe that we all have narcissists in our families, and to some degree, people that's watching this, or some of us may be narcissists. You know what I'm saying? I think that, and when I say us, I'm just speaking on not just pointing the finger outward, but just also pointing the finger inward. You know what I'm saying? But you will know if you're a narcissist, because first and foremost of all, if you are a narcissist, you're not really going to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? That's just like if you stole somebody's cookies out of their cookie jar, that's going to be the last conversation that you're going to have, because you're guilty of stealing those cookies. But, yeah, it's like, just, I think, to add to that puzzle piece of balancing this world out, if we can not become flying monkeys, I think that will help in an aspect of on that particular subject. Then you got a million other subjects to go, which keeps us busy throughout the course of life. On that note, just do research and just find out the different levels, because we still learning about narcissism. And you remember the female Nene, when she realized, and that's funny that you said that, because remember when she broke up with whatchamacallit, and she said she had been observing him, and she realized he was a narcissist, and she started learning about it. Yeah, so yeah, it's a friend of ours, Nene, that was telling us about somebody that she was with. Actually, one of Kel's brothers. And she said she had been observing him, and during the time she was in that relationship with him, she said, she had picked up on the fact that he was a narcissist, and the relationship wound up not lasting. But yeah, it was funny because you did mention him. But yeah, so on that note, yeah, just we have to do our research and just keep learning about stuff. And if somebody come to you with a story about somebody violating them or hurting them, whatever the case may be, we got to hit pause, and then you might have to ask that person questions to have a stronger understanding, instead of just jumping on their side when you might be the person that they using to do their dirty work. You know what I'm saying? And you don't even know it. Because I think most flying monkeys, I think they are the naive that deceive. Mm-hmm. I think most of them don't even know.
And that saying, they said, do hurt people hurt people? Sometimes hurt people help people. So it's not always because a person will recognize that they're hurt some people not gonna always to continue to hurt other people. You're gonna realize that you're also a victim and you're hurt. So you're gonna try to fix your problem, and you're gonna see that same problem in somebody else, and you're gonna try to help them.
You can help them. Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
That's deep. Wow. Yeah. Say that again. So all hurt.
They're saying that hurt people hurt people. Some hurt people can help other people because they're hurt deep. And they know what hurt them, and they see that in somebody else, and then they try to help them.
I never
they
heard
see
that.
You can like they say, true. Or they say they're saying real recognize real.
Yeah.
Just like hurt, you can be hurt. You can recognize that hurt. You can see that same pain in somebody else.
That is deep. And y'all, when we do these shows, it's unrehearsed. We don't be knowing what. Like I say, we light our sage and we let the energy just flow through us. And as y'all can see, this is our second season. It ain't been no show where we have maliciously painted nobody in bad light. That why would we waste our time doing that?
Rehearsed any.
Right, or rehearsed. In our profile, if y'all read, so we search for answers to our questions. No answers, but we are taught a lesson. Through mistakes, we learn to gather wisdom, and wisdom helps us see our responsibility. You feel me? That's deep. Mm-hmm. So on that note, we finna give y'all our, what you call it? Traveling music. Our traveling music, Freedom Styles. We thank y'all for chilling with us again. I'm Steve Osborne.
Kevin Upson.
And we got some good harvesting videos coming y'all way. We got a bunch of videos still coming. This is just nonstop with us. You know what I'm saying?
Thanks for your time being with us for our lunch and our discussions.
That food. Good.
Thanks again for all the cash apps and donations.
Yeah.
The following, the likes, the shares. We appreciate you guys. Love you so much.
Yep. The hypes, the comments. Thank y'all. I don't know what happened. Hey, y'all.
Hit play again.
But it's on that. Hold on, y'all. We gonna get it there. It ain't on me. This is a technical difficulty.
Do the thing to make it, yeah.
Yeah. That tea was good.
No, is it up there? It ain't up there?
I think that's it. All right, y'all. We got it.
Freedom song. Freedom song.
Yeah.
Freedom song.
It's right here. It's epic.
Freedom song.
You ready? Let's rock.
Freedom song.
Stars.
Freedom song. Freedom song. Freedom song. Freedom song.
I got some things on my mind. Let me talk till I'm free. Mental therapy, whatever you want to call it. There's been some things bothering me. I gotta break free. Time for me to finish what I started. I got my heart in it. Standing on 2 feet, 10 toes deep. Baby steps coming through, stumping hard. Whoever your God, whatever your beliefs, lifestyles retreat. This is the place where we all meet. We talking freedom. You best believe it. Energy from the stars, we receive it. Advice, some words and always nice. Suggestions, making statements, playing, saying, chiming, vibing, frequency high. Spirit contact, emotional climax. Forgiving, not forgetting, divine energy. Balance within, notepad, ink, pens. Pull out a check, come on, let's chat for a minute. I'm here.
Freedom song. Freedom song. Freedom song. Freedom song. We're talking freedom. We free. Eyes on the prize. We see it.
definition of freedom is the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. Freedom stars.
Freedom.
Freedom stars. Freedom stars. Freedom stars. Freedom stars.
Hey, can we do that other song, Throwing Shade, just before we finish?
Go ahead.
Yeah, y'all, we throwing shade. We still feeling this song so much. Like the head, here it go. Throwing shade. Y'all gotta check it out. It's on every major platform. It's on Reverb Nation, YouTube.
Dark brown skin, stay on it. Alien shades, he stuntin'. Chapstick on my lips, I'm humming. They been coming for me, but they get none. I keep on running my speed. They keep trying to figure out me. Throwing shade, flawless, arrogance, show stopping. From the left to the right, they clocking me. Eyes on the prize, exhibition, peep, pumping it. Crunk with it, hot like fire, truck blazing lit. Freedom, stay rocking. Get your party on, red carpet, paparazzi, it be like this. Lights, camera, action, topic. Throwing shade, pink lemonade, top pop, rock, Kool-Aid, self-made. Stage presence on lock. Confidence, it's non-stop. Whitney Houston say, why you looking at me? Monica says, all eyes on me. That's what it be, like it or not. Radiant, inferno, hot. Throwing shade, pink lemonade, top pop, rock, Kool-Aid, self-made. Stage presence on lock. Confidence is non-stop. Whitney Houston say, why you looking at me? Monica says, all eyes on me. That's what it be, like it or not. Radiant, inferno, hot. Crushed velvet, rock the scene, shine and blaze. Real clean, Fendi belt wrapped around my waist. Armani suit, Prada boots, hey, with beneath my wings fly. Runway catwalk, step high. Diamond in the rough, that's what's up. So damn tough, wicked on fire. Yes, he gives flames. It's my prerogative, the Bobby Brown way. Journey, space, model boy, face. Flashing lights all night. Kodak moment, that's right. Serving hits, verbalist, lyricist. Put a stank on this, let them talk. I don't mind, watch me walk, leaving them behind. Publicity, ribbon in the sky, authenticity, genuine, no play, I slay, being me for free, pause like that, now bring it back to me. Boomerang doing my thing, not concerned with what they say. Throwing shade, pink lemonade, top pop, rock, Kool-Aid, self-made, stage presence on lock. Confidence, it's non-stop. Whitney Houston say, why you looking at me? Monica says, all eyes on me. That's what it be, like it or not. Radiant, inferno, hot. Throwing shade, pink lemonade, top pop, rock, Kool-Aid, self-made. Stage presence on lock. Confidence, it's non-stop. Whitney Houston say, why you looking at me? Monica says, all eyes on me. That's what it be, like it or not. Radiant, inferno, hot.
And on that finishing note, I want to say just real quick how I want to give an example of how I had became a flying monkey and I didn't know it. Okay, so during the time when I was trying to have a relationship, trying to be good, me and my sister, you know, whatever we had in the past, to leave it. So we was communicating a lot, right? So this how it took me these days to realize. So when me and her would be on the phone, she'll tell me people that said certain things to her certain ways or with certain ways to her. And by me being the oldest child, I think for your younger siblings, how I said you automatically stand in their defense. So like, I'm gonna give you one example. Like, I remember she told me she went out and had dinner with my cousin Kima, Keisha, you know, a lot of them, and she say she didn't like the way Keisha was talking to her about such and such and such and such. And you know, she felt the way she was telling me was like Keisha hurt her. So when me and my cousin Kima was talking, I brought up to Kima, and Kima was like, no, wait, exactly what did she say? She said and this and that. I didn't realize right then and there, I had became a flying monkey because I was standing up in my sister's defense over things she told me that my cousin Kima wound up saying, no, Steve, that's not true. That's not, you know what I'm saying? So that was an example of how I had unknowingly, and that was just one of the examples because, you know, being the oldest child, when your younger siblings come to you with something, that's why I said we got to hit pause because you automatically going to fight or flight.
My defense.
Yeah, so that was one of the examples, and if a lot of y'all think back in
that's
y'all,
what they say, you're leading with your heart.
Yeah.
You understand the truth. You're looking at her through your love for her, other than what she's.
And I think as people, we gotta look at people through love less and just for what it is. You know what I'm saying? And if a lot of y'all think of back on events in y'all lives where situations where somebody told y'all somebody did something devastating to them or whatever, if you look back in your life of events, you might see where, oh dang, I was a flying monkey right there. They used me as a flying, because it's manipulation.
Somebody played you.
Huh?
We normally say somebody played you.
Yeah, and it is all stemming from
thing.
Yeah, even if you don't use the word narcissist, you can just use the word manipulation. But on that note, we out. We thank y'all again. We got 1,000,001 more episodes for y'all.
And again, as always, peace and love.
I had to belch.